AWPers are nearly always the most important player on the team. It attracts the best players in the same way the best F1 cars always end up with the best drivers. But even within such a specialist role, we still have a huge variety of players. JW used it as a sawed-off, cadiaN was so fast they nerfed the gun, and cadiaN found a support AWPing when his fragging took a downward turn. Since then, the meta has developed more in that direction, with AWPing taking a more passive turn on T-side. It's still useful for getting picks, but the risk-reward balance has tipped in favour of caution. The new school of AWPers are closers, late round specialists like Shiro or Brokey, who are supportive in the early round just to go Super Saiyan in the post-plants. But it's not like this meta is solved. There is still, even after 10 years of CSGO, more than one way to use the game's best gun. And those differences show up in a spreadsheet as well as an on-eye test. So let's have a look at some stats, shall we? Ones among you might have guessed. This episode of Counting Strikes will focus in on AWPers. On one axis, we have opening duel attempts, a proxy for early round aggression. On the other, average flashbangs for end per round, roughly measuring how supportive an AWPer is. For nation, we can see how players toe the line between support and aggression. We'll start in the red zone, home to players that are below the average in both categories. We have Hedrick, who Blade famously said wasn't ready for tier 1, the Shiro, whose team barely throw flashbangs, and then Wonderful, Spirit's absolute turret of an AWPer. The AWPers who are focused in on their scope. They don't flash, they don't go for picks, so what the hell are they doing all round? To solve that, we'll have a look at a default round from Wonderful. He may not be throwing utility, but he's still supporting his team, just in a different way. Look how he covers their backs if they push up catwalk. And if you do watch a full demo, he's still one of the players throwing utility. The chart makes him look like he's doing nothing, but it's not that, he's just doing much less than other AWPers. Compare this to the orange zone, where the likes of Jame and Fallen occupy their own AWPing IGL zone. These are the guys that are actually finding the flashes, and that shows in how much they actually use them. Considering they don't even buy 2 in every round, throwing 1.5 flashes per round is ridiculous, even with dropable grenades being in the game. But we all know how Jame plays, and we don't want to bore you with a default round of his, so let's zoom in on a different part of the orange zone, with Brokey. He's part of the new school of closers, but Carrigan has got him doing a hefty load of supportive work on T-side to compensate for that. He's basically an evolution of the more raw, passive Wonderful. Brokey is a combo AWPer, someone who excels in hectic mid-round situations and close range with the AWP. By letting him use his utility early to support the riflers, he's alive for these situations more often. The same is true for riflers too. Throwing lots of utility is usually a star player's role these days, leaving them alive for the all-important late round, and, of course, not having to entry. It's not basic if you get a flash assist, remember. But passive is not the only style. Some AWPers are still pushing back. We have Dexter, the key cog of OG's 2015 Envious-style Death Ball cosplay, who throws less than 0.75 flashes per round. It's a similar story to Searson and Hypes, and slightly further up we have Manassi. Let's join G2. Alexi B used him fairly supportively, and one of Hooksy's big changes was unleashing that beast. Zyro 2 is not known for his support work. But where we want to draw your attention in this zone is onto Device. Old Deva was always known as a passive AWPer back in 2018. He wouldn't go for those unwinnable clutches, and that was enough for him to catch some flack from certain corners. He was always fairly dynamic. He understood that 4750 is a big investment in the gun, just for you to not see anyone until there's 30 seconds left. He even said it himself on HTTP Confirmed that he wanted to be more aggressive than the meta. It's like that dummy Elon Musk meme. Device hasn't changed, it's just that everyone around him has got far more passive. So we can see the development in the last few years. The AWP is still the best gun in the game, but people are split on how to use it. Should his power be reserved for the late round or abused for openers? A clean 5v4 results in a win for the team with the man advantage more than 70% of the time. So if you back yourself to get that advantage consistently, you're shifting the scales massively in your team's favour. And of course, it works the other way too. Go for an unnecessary peak and you leave your team in a 4v5 with a 30% chance of winning. There is definitely a sweet spot somewhere in the middle. And we should also stress that none of these aggressive AWPers we were talking about go for that many opening duels. 23% is still fairly low compared to you're a Kinder. So finally, if we look at this green zone, we can see that a few AWPers have tried to reach this balance. They still use most of their flashes every round, but also take quite a lot of opening duels. Afro is here, who Device praise on confirmed, right next to Simple, with Old Sprout AWPers Slacks and Forza Zorte in the top right. Slacks is an interesting one, a supportive AWPer whose replacement Zello is firmly in the red zone for 2023 so far. but the most interesting player here is probably cadiaN. Heroic's captain has built a unique system, a Jurgen Klopp style arrangement with constant pressure, no room for egos, and a knack for losing finals. All of the riflers, except maybe stauN, share similar roles, pairing crazy trade stats with some of the best utility in the game. And their RGL is a huge part of this, in prep and in-game. cadiaN throws the 4th most flashes of any AWPer, and is in the top 6 for opening duel attempts. He's got set opening paths like Afro, and as many flash assists as Jane. So okay, he might not have the mechanical skill of a Simple, or even a Wonderful, but he makes sure he has impact in every single round. So where does this leave us? There's lots of different AWPers in here, and a lot of their style is probably them just doing what their IGL tells them to. This chart isn't a reflection of quality or of impact, with both of these metrics showing style, not performance. There is no correlation with rating or ability with these zones, it just shows different ways to play the game. The meta isn't solved even after this long, and CS2 might throw yet another spanner in the works. So what type of AWPing do you think is best? Are you using it as a bait stick or as a shotgun? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more statistical breakdowns. We'll see you next time.